Hey, gang. 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, both in Atlanta. WZQR and ZQR Talks, Pineland, Florida. The Biz Growth Collective. Oh, I got to get on that. Dope. Rainbow Radio, Yerg's Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. Big show today, Inauguration Day. And Jane is off today. She's going to be what many of our listeners, viewers, fans, followers are going to need and be doing today, and that is Mental Health Day. Much needed, well deserved. And a lot are going to be feeling that way, if they're not already. They probably are. I mean, let's just leave it at many of you are, quote unquote, snowed in as I multitask. But many of you are snowed in, and don't let that bug you. Don't let that bring you down. Don't let the results of what we need to all collectively admit was a free and fair election. And as usual, I'm still getting some things together, but I'm paying attention to you. There we go. A free and fair election. And the 45th president of the United States is returning to be the 47th president of the United States. Hang in there. We're still here. Jane will be back. And, oh, my feet are warm. I got a heater on the floor. It's cold. It's cold all over the place. Stay warm. Do what you have to do. Be safe in the process of staying warm. Point being, staying warm. And I've washed my face twice today, and it's only 11 o'clock. And I don't know if it's allergies, but eye boogers are kicking my ass. It's Martin Luther King Day today. And one is going to be overshadowed by the other. Which one is it? It's Martin Luther King Day. Is that overshadowed by the fact that today is also the inauguration of Donald Trump for the second time, 2.0? Or is MLK overshadowing Trump? That was one of the questions I posed in one of the email alerts, or not an email alert. We didn't start that yet. But one of the questions I posed in the social media alerts to today's show. What do you think Donald is thinking with regards to sharing today with MLK? I'm titling the room for chatter, MLK versus DJT. Chatter is a predominantly Black-owned application, as is a new one. My buddies from The Point, the Tuesday show, introduced me to it. I'm brain farting on what it is, but we'll talk about that in a second too. Actually, later. A little bit of drama. Live event. Let's take a little bit of drama out. Put politics in. I don't know. It is a live event, but I think we're going to do the drama. The tags on, unfortunately, you can only do 2. And there's plenty to be tagged for today. But you can only do 2. Oh, that's a good one. I just, instead of using the usual thumbnail, I did one in my backyard that has the pride flag, the American flag in the middle, and I think the Biden-Harris flag on the other side. I'm going to put the law enforcement flag up now that that flag is no longer necessary. MLK versus DJT. So yeah, Martin Luther King Day today. Banks, post office, and such closed. Today is also usually a holiday for the inauguration. So that makes me is 47 jealous. And so there we go. There's that room on Chatter. Send me a message if you would like to join it. There's plenty of white dudes there too. Don't let me say that it's black owned scare you. It's Chatter's for everybody, and they do a great job welcoming everybody. I got to go back to the guys from The Point and find out what that other one is. I don't remember it. And you guys know me. It takes a while with my learning disability and other stupidity till I learn something. 1-888-88 Yergs is our number. Keep me company in the absence of Jane. And then give me somebody to talk to in my let me say MLK versus DJT is 47 jealous. That's the name of my other to stream to everybody on Chatter from a position like this. I need a phone login. It's the same account. It's just that the login has to be done a second time so that it goes to assist. It's lots of convoluted stuff, but I can change the name of the login on the desktop. What that allows me to do is like put a title in there or a little bit about the show, etc. So when that shows up, boom. So here we go. 2 hours of talking about MLK. In fact, that's probably going to be, in fact, I know it's going to be. I just got to find it. I have, for morning motivation, I have an actual MLB quote. Although it's not a quote, I don't believe. I think it's actually just like a promotional type of message. Maya. Mark. Where's he at? Oh, it's under Dr. King. I'm looking in the M's for Martin. The computer does it by whatever you put up front. So if you put Hank Meyer, who's a hot bodybuilder that I hooked up with back when he was quote unquote straight, And I found him on social media one day, and I'm like, I know that guy. In fact, he was actually the subject of a Facebook post. Some wise ass comment I made about being straight, yet we have 74 mutual friends. Welcome to the community, Hank. But he puts that instead of in the M's for his last name, Meyer, it's in the H's for Hank. Well, my Dr. King is in the D's for doctor. Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is good. I'll put both of them up today because, I mean, it's obviously, I did use the one back in October. I think you know that when I use one of these quotes, one of these visuals, I put the 6-digit date at the end of it so that I know when the last time I used it. Find some of those kind of recent. Like, for example, soon after, in fact, the day after he passed away, I did this one with regards to Jimmy Carter. I'll put it up there briefly. Don't need too much. You've seen it before. There we go. I guess I am putting it a little bit more detailed. There we are. That's the quote that I used for Jimmy Carter on the 30th. So in his file, it says 24, the year, 12, the month, 30, the date. And now I know if I ever quote Jimmy Carter again, that was the last time I quoted Jimmy Carter, at least for that particular one. I've got like 15 of Steve Jobs, just as many for Gary Vaynerchuk. But so I won't necessarily know the last time I quoted the person so much as I used that quote and that visual. All right. So up next, we're actually going to use both of them. And I'm wondering if I can just go right to left on that one still comes up. That's interesting. So I closed the file of Jimmy Carter. And I have in that screen an MLK. Jimmy Carter keeps coming up. It's not helping me. So another thing we're doing more frequently is more frequent commercials, which I know no self-respecting fan of any show is going to like. But what we're going to do with it is do a commercial, like one, maybe two, and that's it. And come back, more of the show. Then, in a short amount of time, another commercial. And what that does, it still gets us the same amount of commercials in during the course of a show, during the course of an hour. But what it also does is makes them quicker so that you remember it. It was Capital One. It was, Frontier. It was whatever. But also, it really doesn't allow you to stray because now you know We're going to be back in literally a minute. And there's no reason for you to leave by the time you go somewhere or find some other station. We're going to be back. And we're going to be talking about MLK or whatever else. Also, this reminder, this is up the middle, politics for the rest of us. You can visit us at Mastiff, MASTIFF.media. That is a web address. Our friends across the pond in the UK know that all too well because they're listening on the UG. The UG is in like underground. It's another thing I know, but I can never remember it. Anyway, the UG.media, like we're Mastiff.media. For those of you watching, it's right there. And in fact, you can also see the address there in smaller letters, Mastiff.media. But that's us. Visit that. You can find all the places where you can find us. In case the way you're watching or listening now doesn't work some other day, you know where you can catch up. Also, if it does happen to be social media, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. This is politics for the rest of us, not for people who are far right and conservative only and think that they're right about everything. Same on the left. If you're willing to compromise, if you are smart enough to realize that's how you're going to successfully govern, whether you're in the governing position or your leaders are who you elected, then this is the show. And in some cases, even the channel for you. Yerg's Radio is looking for more talent and more content for two reasons. One, Yerg's Radio needs it, but we're also starting a test network for a streaming service that we're going to be switching to. But instead of trying to migrate everything over and just starting over, we'll start another channel and we'll figure out exactly what that channel is during this testing process. But point being, when we figured it out, we'll just launch that new channel. And while that's up and running, we'll begin the process of migrating Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, and eventually the sports station. And that might be the one that we test with. I don't know. But eventually the sports station over to that as well. So if you have political shows, if you have any other type of talk show or podcast, for Yerg's Radio, we stay with the positive talk in a negative world. That can be political. It does not have to be. I got to have a Marco Rubio moment here. Remember when he gave a rebuttal to a State of the Union address, and he actually stepped off camera to get a bottle of water, and he took grief for that. Hey, you got to hydrate. Can't fault the guy for that, especially when there's plenty of else to fault him for. But up the middle is politics for the rest of us. Yerg's Radio is positive talk in a negative world. Rainbow Radio is serving the LGBT community locally, globally, and everywhere in between. And the TBD sports station, we'll figure that out. Open to your suggestions, open to your contributions. And finally, the one that we're testing with right now looks like it's going to be a political talk station, like politics only, or maybe news. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Might be the news, actually, because there's another method to my madness that we're doing that. That's a Mastiff Media thing. All right. That's that advertisement. is myself, or us, I should say. Let's check in with some of the others, and we'll be back after this.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training, a dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum.
All right. I've got to add something here. Why is that not? There we go. Buyblacket.com. Do you need a coffee mug, a shirt to work out in? All kinds of cool products that are not MAGA. They're American. And I like that. That's why I've got two of them. Not using one right now. I'm using for those of you on video, you'll enjoy this. There we go. That's the coffee mug for today. Buyblacket.com is Philip Blackett's merch. Philip joins me on Wednesdays. I'm sure he's partying right now. He is our Trump translator, our pro-Trump member of the team. And I know that he's enjoying today, and he should. Everybody should. We overcame in 2021, and I don't sugarcoat, and you know that. I don't mix words. You know that. I don't. I don't BS you. We overcame a coup 4 years ago. 4 years ago and 3 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, 4 years and 2 weeks ago. We overcame a coup. And now that authority has come to power legally. There might be some questions about that too. That's for another day and another episode. But that's why this political experiment really is the best system on earth. Russia, who used to be a democracy for a very short number of decades, is no longer a democracy. They're still out there. But whether they're a democracy, yeah. So today, none of our usuals checking in on chat yet. Hit us up on chat with whatever social media platform you're joining on. Don't forget you can call 2 separate numbers. See if we can get that scrolling across the bottom. There they are. Does MLK overshadow DJT's second inauguration? Give me a call and tell me what you think. 1-888-88-YERGS, 1-888-88-YERGZ, or 844-GAY-LGBT. You don't have to be gay to use it. You just have to be able to spell it. Shout out to everybody joining on Insta. Thanks for joining. God, I wish you guys would stay a little longer. You'd learn something. Oh, well. Oh, God, people speed on my street. I got some natural light coming in today, probably a little much, but MLK. Let's bring that up. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Try it that way. There we go. That's better. Martin Luther King Jr. never burned one building, never robbed one store, never destroyed one town, changed the world. Without question, made a difference. I wanted to put a background in too. What am I sharing there? Am I sharing a screen or am I sharing? I think that's. It's not going to be any different there, though. That's what sucks. This only has window wave browser tab because that's what I'm using to our streaming, and the entire screen. Well, the window and the entire screen are actually going to be the same for this. One of these, I think it's Discord. I can share an application. Yes. And that's what I'll share right now for that. And it still does that, though. How's that look? That's better. Much better. Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's fine. All right. Never burned one building, never robbed one store, never destroyed one town, changed the world. Also acknowledged the assistance of, as he said it, his white brothers and sisters. Did that during his I Have a Dream speech in DC. And I can vouch for that. Not that he said that, because I wasn't there. I was a little young. But Dora, welcome on Chatter. You're welcome to the stage if you'd like to be. Just stay muted for now. Raise your hand if you want to give us a comment. And you should know that we're talking to about 50 to 60,000 people, not just on Chatter, but other applications, social media, and internet and terrestrial radio. But as most of you know, I'm a card-carrying member of the LGBT community. What does that mean? Within this past decade, we were rightfully and finally granted the right to vote. We didn't do it by ourselves. Not only did we do it with the help of particularly two straight men, but one of them was black. I think you know the history for that. Back during the second administration of Barack Obama, I think the year was 13 or 14, 2013 or 2014, when the Supreme Court made their decision that we do have the right to marry. We in the gay community do have the right to be just as miserable as our parents. We didn't do that with just the gay community. We did that with the help of those particularly two straight guys, and of course, 9 others. Or I don't know if it was a unanimous decision. In fact, no, I think Clarence Thomas, of all people, voted against it. But nevertheless, we did not do it on our own. My advice to the black community is the same thing. Dr. King said it himself. When BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, came to fruition during my time in the Los Angeles field office, a yoga class that I was attending on a regular basis was led by a black yoga instructor who did have for BLM a black only class. And a bunch of us approached him and said, hey, let's allow whites in it. We want to help. Many of us. Unfortunately, not all of us. And it was disappointing because that black yoga instructor was also gay and should have known better. He's married to a white man. And she should have known that sometimes rights, peace, friendship isn't with somebody who's exactly like you. Dr. King knew that. That is not a white man right aside of him. That is a very light colored. In fact, when I've seen this photo, there was somebody else that's in this photo. I think it's the guy in the bib overalls right aside of him. There was another civil rights leader who supportive of his movement and a big part of it. But if we look on the right side over the left shoulder of the light-skinned black male, there's a white photographer. You can see over the right shoulder of the guy in bib overalls. And I think it's the guy that he's arm in arm with. The guy who just has like a left leg, a left arm, a left shoulder, and a left ear on the photo. That is a white hairline and a white ear. There's no hand attached to the left arm because the photo's cropped. But that's a white Q-tip if I've ever seen one. Q-tip, for those of you who are not familiar, is a guy who's got hair around the sides, but is bald on top. I don't know how that becomes a Q-tip, but that's what Q-tip haircuts are. It's not like he chose to be that. Just unless he was starting to go bald and shave the top. When guys do that, they say, I'm going bald on my terms. No, you're not. You're just advancing it. But Dr. King advanced peace, love, acceptance, a lot of things that we have not been hearing about in recent years, though many tried. Today is supposed to be about unity. So says DJT. And sorry if I'm seemingly, what's the word I'm looking for? Fostering the overshadowing of the inauguration. Relax. We're going to talk about that too. We've got 2 hours. Well, hour and 20 minutes now. But his activism wasn't something that was just a peaceful sit-in. Look at them. They're marching. They're moving forward. They've got a flag that represents them. They're locked arm in arm. That's a use of force. Actually, a presence is a use of force. It's something we're taught in every police academy I've been in. And I've been in 3. That's a use of force. No one was hurt. Didn't destroy the town, rob a store, or burn down a building. And we've got a ways to go, a long ways to go, before any of the minorities in this country acquire the equality that they're entitled to, that they deserve, that is theirs. Oh, did I lose him? Just invited somebody else to the stage on Chatter. And just as I hit invite to stage, I don't think I kicked him out. I hope not. I mean, Dora's still there. Send her another invite. Dora Maria. No, I got to laugh. So that's good. Yeah. So you can be peaceful. You can be productive. He wasn't finished, but he's not the one who ended his life. I will come back with that, and then we'll hit his other quote, which is I already alluded to. And then we'll get on to talking about, 20 minutes till we get there. So plenty to talk about once we do. 99.1 WDJY, America One Radio, WZQR, WZQR Talks, Pineland, Florida, Biz Growth Collective, Rainbow Radio, Chatter, Yerg's Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after these words. Which one do I want? That one.
Hey, what's in your wallet? Well, I'll tell you what's in mine, and it should be in yours. Capital One. My credit card with Capital One has $0 fraud liability for any unauthorized use. 0. Flexible due dates. Look in your wallet. See if it's there. Or go to my Facebook page and click on the affiliate link. You get checked for pre-approval. You can apply for the card and enjoy.
Rumble. It's another place that we're at right now. We stream. We are nonpartisan where possible. Clearly, I'm not a fan of Trump, and you all know that. But we stream to as many different other platforms as possible. And the reason for that is our belief, what's the word I'm looking for? Our policy, our business model is one that welcomes everyone. That includes differences of opinion. In fact, those of us Those are the ones you should be going after. And so we're not just on YouTube, we're on Rumble. I've got to, we just launched 2.0 of yergs.com last week, Friday. There's some things that, I mean, it's with my partnership with Build a Space, and that's another one I could be promoting. But build a dot space, like dot media. It's not just dot com anymore. Build a dot space is working on both of my websites. They're kind of the preliminary version of the 2.0s, but ultimately they're going to be better than the 1.0s. So while there's some errors on it right now, there's some changes that operationally need to be made. You know, patience, it's going to look great. And so I'm holding that patience, but yergs.com used to hold the list of affiliates like Buy Blackett and Chase and Capital One and Frontier, Rumble. If you want to get a paid version of Rumble, if you're a content creator, first off, you can message me. You can always message me. You can always message everybody that's on my team by hitting up this email, news, NEWZ, at yergs, YERGZ.com, or whatever social media or social audio you're watching or listening on, message me there. We will get you the show notes for today and any other day's show. We'll also get you the list of affiliates, should you be interested in that. Oh, Dora said a message she can see and hear from the audience. Awesome. Because that was actually not working for a while. If you were in the audience on Chatter, you couldn't hear. And then I guess they had to let you up onto the stage and then go to the audience, or I don't know. But the point of being in the audience is you can hear the presenter or presenters. If you're invited up on stage by the people who know the room, who own the room, then you can talk to everybody else. But what I need to make sure everybody else on Chatter understands is that this is a radio show. It's not just a room on Chatter. I believe in what the guys at Chatter are doing. So in effort to help promote them, I'm doing my show live on Chatter from here. Oh, I forgot Discord. I was sharing the actual. Shady, go lay down. I have a puppy who's coming into heat. And so she thinks she's more of the boss than what she really is. I don't know if you can see her ears poking up on the bottom of the screen, but she used to come and sit on my lap. She's now 45 pounds. So, yeah, that's not an option. 11:46. I'm actually going to take another break. This one might be a little bit longer because I'm going to set up the video for the 12 o'clock inauguration of number 47. So hang tight. We'll be back after this. And yeah, we'll see what's going on with DJ TJ. Or actually, DJT. DJ TJ is going to be there too, as will the rest of the crew. But where we go? There, here. All right, gang. Be right back. Hang tight. See you in a little bit.
What's that smell? In my studio, it's Aroma by Peter. Scented wax candles with long-lasting wicks that make your place smell amazing. And don't worry, guys. Plenty of scents for you too. For us too. So go to aromabypeter.com. Hey, what's in your wallet? Well, if you want something that gives you zero fraud liability for unauthorized use, flexible due dates, just look in your wallet. Or look in mine. Go to CapitalOne.com. Actually, go to my Facebook page. Click on the affiliates link and find Capital One. Use my link to apply today. Capital One.
All right, so I think, I'm not expecting any celebrities to use my Google phone number. Do you ever notice when Howard Stern is in the studio and he's taking phone calls and you're one of those calls maybe, and you're on hold hoping to talk to Howard today? And you're on hold, or as is probably the case, you're not even on hold. You're getting you dial, it's busy. You dial again, it's busy. You dial a third time, it's still busy. You keep dialing and it's still busy. Yet some celebrity always seems to be able to get through. Howard, your mom's on line 1. Howard, Beth is on the phone. His wife, second wife. Howard, Arnold Schwarzenegger's calling. Well, it's because they have a dedicated line. And that line is not given to the rest of the public. I do the same thing. So, let me see. YouTube. I'm presuming something for this is going to be live on YouTube. There's us. Beetlejuice, the star, has just exploded, and it's worse than we... Oh, I have to see that. Okay, well, first of all, there it is. I thought that was... Oh, here it is.
Good
It wasn't supposed to start
afternoon.
till noon.
Endurance through the years is the ultimate test. To persevere through time is the truest measure of an idea, an institution, and a nation. Our founders
I'm pulling
wrote
this
the
back up. Give me a
Constitution
second.
so that America could withstand all the twists and turns of time. They wrote it to guide us and to preserve forever our right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But as much as the truths and principles enshrined in our Constitution remain the same, our democracy promises the American people the power to change, to chart their own destiny. That's the beauty.
Popping?
That is the importance of democracy. It allows the endurance, the permanence of a nation through change. It allows nations like our United States both to avoid the obstacles and to seize the opportunities God has placed before us, all while staying true to our founding principles. Today is our country's 60th inauguration ceremony. Like all the others before it, it is a celebration of our right to set our uniquely American course. The past several years have been trying at times for many, many Americans, and also for the nations of the free world that we humbly strive to lead. In November, Americans chose again to steer this nation towards greatness, the secure, safe, and prosperous future that our founders envisioned for all of us. And today, we celebrate not only their to make their own choice so that their nation might endure. And now, allow me to welcome Archbishop Timothy Dolan and Reverend Franklin Graham, who will deliver our invocation. Please rise.
Be still and know that I am God, supreme among the nations, supreme on the earth. Let us pray. Remembering General George Washington on his knees at Valley Forge, recalling Abraham Lincoln at his second inaugural, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Remembering General George Patton's instructions to his soldiers as they began the Battle of the Bulge 8 decades ago. Pray. Pray when fighting. Pray alone. Pray with others. Pray by night. Pray by day. Observing the birthday of the Reverend Martin Luther King, who warned, without God, our efforts turn to ashes. We, blessed citizens of this one nation under God, humbled by our claim that in God we trust, gather indeed this Inauguration Day to pray for our President Donald J. Trump, his family, his advisors, his cabinet, his aspirations, his vice president, for the Lord's blessings upon Joseph Biden, for our men and women in uniform, for each other whose hopes are stoked this new year, this Inauguration Day. We cannot err in relying upon that prayer from the Bible, upon which our president will soon place his hand in oath, as we make our own the supplications of King Solomon for wisdom as he began his governance. God of our fathers, in your wisdom you set man to govern your creatures, to govern in holiness and justice, to render justice with integrity. Give our leader wisdom, for he is your servant, aware of his own weakness and brevity of life. If wisdom which comes not from you be not with him, he shall be held in no esteem. Send wisdom from heavens that she may be with him, that he may know your designs. Please, God, bless America. Please mend her every flaw. You are the God in whom we trust, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Do they know they're not at a funeral? Those of you on our radio, which I just took myself off camera so I could check them all. We are live at where we all need to be. I do have somebody waiting backstage. I see. Give me a wave if you want to come out and say hi. No? Okay. They all look like they're at a funeral. And if anybody should be dressed like that, it should be the Biden side. And the irony of that was that a week or two ago, whenever it was, Melania was not dressed to be at a funeral. She was dressed to go on Broadway as the Flying Nun.
Christ was born of glory in his bosom that transfigured to man. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free while God is marching on.
It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the 45th and the 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty
Didn't
will
he
be
say that
reclaimed.
before?
Our safety will be
Aren't we hearing
restored.
this a second time?
The scales of justice will
I mean, as a
be
journalist, you need to
rebalanced.
point that out.
The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
Against Hunter Biden. Well, so much for that
And
day of
our
unity,
top
Donald.
priority will be to create a nation that
Swing
is
and a miss,
proud,
man. Swing
prosperous,
and a
and
miss.
free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident
So does that
and
include his
optimistic that
first
we are
administration?
at the start of a thrilling
Is he
new
admitting
era of
shortcomings?
national success. A tide of change is
Fair
sweeping the
question.
country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly.
Hey, don't forget Florida.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly. My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, And very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states. And the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true. Thank you. Thank you. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency
never been
at
about
our
common
southern
sense.
border.
Just so folks are clear, the people in there are invited by
All
the Trump
illegal
administration.
entry
It's
will
not general
immediately
public.
be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Well, first of all, that's already been done, but I'm not opposed to that either. I want to find I'm hearing a clicking. I'm hearing some really bad audio. So I want to find another feed if possible. I know we're missing out, but really, are we missing out?
To eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
We already are. The Biden administration is drilling more than any other administration in history, including his.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury.
The External Revenue
coming
Service.
from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
Meanwhile, he's creating another federal agency in the External Revenue Service. Oh, the stupidity.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Start with Elon. Start with Elon. Oh, this is not painful. This is comical.
Never again
Although
will the immense
I
power
did-
of the state be weaponized to persecute political.
I did switch from red and trying to support unity to blue, just out of the ignorance of this ass hat.
It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law.
Well, then show up for court when you have your court date, because you're still
We are
out on
going
bail.
to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to
Yes, this is
socially
alcohol.
engineer race and
And I'm
gender
canceling my
into
doctor
every
appointment for later
aspect
today.
of
My
public
blood
and
pressure's
private
already
life.
through the roof.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Meanwhile, every doctor says that there's at least 3, as many as 6. Look, I'm not for transgender females in biological female sports because of the benefit they've already been
I
given.
will reinstate any service members who
Jesus.
were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. And I will sign an order to from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
I was muted. That's great news. Send them to Ukraine instead of sending dollars. Because obviously those soldiers fight for free, right? I mean,
Like
if they don't have to pay attention to science, they probably don't pay attention to math either.
Military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win,
I'm going to be
but
courteous
also
to this
by
doctor
the
appointment and
wars
cancel
that
it.
we
I'll be right
end, and
back.
perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families. Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman and gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to the country of Panama after the United States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made. And Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty has been totally violated. American ships are being severely overcharged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form. And that includes the United States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together, we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. Ambition is the lifeblood of a great nation. And right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the next great adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
Oh, unfortunately, not loud enough. I mean, look on the bright side. I'm getting practice being a smartass.
You now is proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do.
Okay,
In
good.
America,
Something
the
positive.
impossible
Yay.
is what we do best. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and
we're about to do it again.
Every single challenge that they
In a
faced.
third world war, right, Blake?
After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America's promise,
I need
and we
more
will rebuild the
vodka.
nation
I
that
think
we
I'm going to
love
put
and we love
vodka
it
and
so
rum in it.
much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every
he's
parent
ending.
who dreams for their child,
Praise Jesus, he's
and every
ending.
child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you. We're going to win like never before.
I want to play poker against this douchebag so bad. Oh, Oh, this is painful.
Thank you. Thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation. We will stand bravely. We will live proudly. We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, gang. I just need to check one more network.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing America the Beautiful, please welcome.
So one of my
Armed
affiliates,
Forces
America One
Chorus
Radio,
and Carrie
has
Underwood.
somebody talking about Uranus. Oh, here's the moment. Here's Carrie. Oh, that Air Force guy's gay. Oh, technical issues. Black Lives Matter strikes again. What is the what is that sit-in group? Occupy Occupy the Capitol. Occupy the Capitol is pulling the plug on the PA system. I'll be so not happy right now. Back in the background, you see Elon. Remember, you can't spell felon without Elon. Matt, give me a wave if you want to come out.
You know the words, help me out here. Oh,
Now, there's at least a professional. She's moving forward anyway.
Skies for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood shining sea.
That's it?
Well, I mean, without the cue cards, I guess she's better just cutting it at one. Smart move. Well played.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Fisher will now introduce the benediction clergy.
Oh, wrapping it up.
I now call on Rabbi Ari Berman, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, and Reverend Frank Mund to provide prayers of benediction.
Let us pray. Almighty God, your prophet Jeremiah walked the streets of Jerusalem and blessed its inhabitants with the Hebrew words, Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach BaHashem. Blessed is the one who trusts in God. Thousands of years later, this great nation, which adopted these words as its motto, "In God we trust," stands at a moment of historic opportunity. Americans are searching for meaning. Our merciful Father, help us rise to meet this moment. Bless President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance with the strength and courage to choose the right and the good. Unite us around our foundational biblical values of life and liberty, of service and sacrifice, and especially of faith and morality.
All right, well, he's getting a little restless, so we'll bring out one of my co-hosts from the Friday show, Friday Fights, and the host of Daily Crypto News. Where'd it go?
Which have been experiencing such unrest, to inspire the next generation, to pair progress with purpose, knowledge with wisdom, and truth with virtue. Hear the cry of the hostages, both American and Israeli.
I was just going to bring Matt out.
So acutely feels.
He was backstage. I said,
so thankful,
give me a wave when you want to come out. He didn't wave.
Young women who yesterday returned home, and pray that the next 4 years brings peace to Israel and throughout the Middle East.
And to Palestine.
Grant
Let's
all
be inclusive.
Americans the opportunity to realize our shared dream of a life filled with peace and plenty, health and happiness, compassion and contribution. Stir within us the confidence to rise to this moment. For while we trust in God, God's trust is in us, the American people.
Joe Biden standing there, just let me die.
America is called to greatness, to be a beacon of light and a mover of history. May our nation merit the fulfillment of Jeremiah's blessing. The like a tree planted by water, we shall not
I need
cease
number
to
2,
bear
gang.
fruit.
And I canceled my doctor
May
appointment.
all of humanity
This is just too ridiculous.
experience your love and your blessing. May it be thy will, and let us say, Amen.
Let us pray for our 47th president. Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are the one that have called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We pray that you use our president, that we would live in a nation We will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful today that you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous hilltops of California, but God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day. All of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We
Finally,
are free
some
at
entertainment.
last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
Speaking of big introductions, here's two guys that joined.
Oh, it's about damn time. Are we gonna turn this off already?
Hold on.
Nope, we made it bigger. There we go.
We've made it now bigger.
Oh, there we are. We're on the other side today. Oh, this was painful.
Almighty and eternal God, we gather here today in reverence, joined in our shared hopes and dreams.
This guy sounds like the Reverend from Seinfeld.
In this sacred moment,
He sounds like another rabbi.
The rabbi from Seinfeld. You know, Lane's neighbor? You know,
He had a rabbi.
turn our hearts to you.
I think we got the whole gist of everything.
I think we got it, yeah.
Blessings
Yeah.
upon this pivotal moment.
Oh,
in
that was
history.
painful.
We come before you with profound gratitude.
Blake,
for the
shall
many
I
gifts
dare
you have
say
bestowed
that
upon
you
our
and
land.
Is this going to be in the background the whole time while we try to talk?
No, hold on.
strength of our
I thought it would get muted out when I took it off camera, but anyway. Blake, shall I dare say that you and I are going to agree on a few things today?
Well, I mean, probably. But I mean, I also think, I have opinions on this kind of stuff anyway, but
well, I mean, that's what I pay you for.
Yeah. You're probably, I'm going to guess you're not.
Nothing on the pay joke there.
I'm going to guess. Yeah.
I mean, that pizza goes a long way.
It goes a long way. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to agree on some stuff. I bet you're not going to agree with me on some other stuff though, but.
Okay. Well, my first question, everybody, was, what are you guys drinking? Because this is vodka, cranberry, black cherry, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's great.
Is it water?
Agua
with ice.
sir.
With ice, because I'm American.
Baby agua, no ice, because I am not Blake.
I use European
I like the
American.
ice, man. I love it. Like, why would you not if you can do ice?
I don't understand. I don't know what is the temperature in Oklahoma City right now, because it's 17 degrees outside. Why do I need ice?
It's 24. Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Hey, what do you want, man?
He's using snow.
Yeah.
So I think the first question that any of us needs to ask first, where do we begin?
Well, I mean, I would begin with Joe Biden giving him the president of giving him an excuse to pre-pardon anyone that does anything illegal for him in this administration. I mean,
but you knew all that was coming.
no, I don't care. Like Joe Biden,
It doesn't matter if he knew it was coming or not.
That's
that was ridiculous.
Joe Biden,
ridiculous.
Joe Biden has given Trump full permission to, first of all, not have to go after his political enemies. So he doesn't even have to deal with that. Because here's the thing, he might have gotten distracted and not done that anyway. So to give them the pardon and to pardon his family, to me, his whole family, basically, to me is just now Trump's going to use it.
Yeah. He did somebody other than Hunter?
Yes. His brother, his sister-in-law, his sister, everyone he's related to that's been
Liz Cheney, Fauci,
kind of stuff.
Well, I saw and I knew and I wasn't surprised to see Fauci.
That's
Cheney,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. This will turn into presidents pardoning everyone in their party. That's what this is going to turn into. I promise you.
Well, it just shows. Well, it shows that we have a complete lack of rule of law, that this is going to be a non-existent thing. And it goes, and I put the tweet that I retweeted this morning was, this issuance of unconditional preemptive pardons is a mission that our justice system is malfunctioning.
I don't even know that it's an admission of that. I think it will precipitate that being a thing. It will be the cause.
I think it's an admission and a precipitation. You're right.
I think it's more of a precipitation of it happening, because here's the problem.
Precipitation, is that the right word? Precipitation?
I think so. I mean, isn't
that raining? What's raining? Precipitation, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it one of those words that have multiple meanings?
I think so. That. I think so, because it's like yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Are you talking about a precipice?
Yeah.
He's just meaning that it's going to facilitate more of the malfunctioning justice system.
I could be wrong. I think the verb version of that is to precipitate. You can precipitate from the sky like rain, but you can also precipitate as in like it happened. Anyway, the point is,
I love when I learn things today.
I could be wrong about that. I'm not an English major. Don't quote me. But here's the point. That will cause more deterioration in the Justice Department.
If we could get her back to her, Jane is backstage as well. And not only was she an English major, but she was an English teacher. But she was just using our link to watch.
Precipitate, cause an event or situation, typically one that is bad or undesirable to happen suddenly, unexpectedly, or prematurely. Nailed it.
There you go. Good, man. But no, so I agree with you 100%. That is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's both things. It's admitting that we have an issue with the justice system. Look, people have been talking about the justice system for a long time. And nobody cared, because it was usually poor people that were getting screwed over by the justice system, and you saw the inequities within the justice system. But now now people have learned how to work its way up, and they're just now it's blatantly forced, and now we're just pardoning people.
What did Joe Biden do that helped that part of the justice system be corrected at all, or admitted that it's broken? Nothing. This is only an admission that Trump might have used it, might have weaponized it. That's it. This was based on something that might happen in the future. He's not even admitting it's happened yet. This is
I know,
so wrong.
I know we all want to see, and I'm just going to say it, even though we're still on terrestrial radio for 4 more minutes. I know we all want to see Trump step on his dick.
Who? No, I want him to succeed. I don't want him to step on anything.
I don't know that that's true.
Agree.
I think he will. I don't want him to.
But then if we want him to succeed, then don't we want Joe Biden to steer him in a direction to do that?
Well, this is not how you're doing it. This is not it.
You said it yourself. You both said it yourself. He has shiny object syndrome.
How will this do that?
If we don't allow him to focus on people such as Adam Kinzinger and Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney and company, then he can focus on making America great again.
No, this is ridiculous. You are trying to spin this into something good that Biden did, and it's not.
I didn't interrupt you. I hear the frustration in both of you. And I sat here and listened to the whole thing, start to finish. I'm on cocktail number 2. I canceled.
I was going to say, he's on cocktail number 2. Watch out.
My blood pressure is through the roof.
I don't think the booze is going to help that.
What happens when we all sit back and take a breath and realize that his movements today, I think I just slurred my speech a little bit. Oh, that's so cool. I got to share you guys this vodka that I found is fantastic.
I don't like vodka. I'm not a big fan.
Usually top shelf vodka is distilled 3 times.
Oh, beer guy myself. Sorry.
This is distilled 6.
Whoa.
This is amazing. Anyway,
there's no good in this. There's no good.
It just like, and that's what I was going to get to. Just like Gerald Ford, who caught shit stuff. Yeah. They'll get over it. Who caught grief for pardoning Nixon.
I think that's different.
But history has looked upon him favorably as he indeed did allow the country to heal.
I think that's totally different.
This is you're absolutely right. This is totally different. This is far worse than Nixon and deeper.
What? Hold on one second.
3 guys went to jail for Watergate. They weren't executive people.
Right, but Watergate is like,
we're talking about advisors who are in jail because of this.
Okay.
We lost 99.1 WDJY. We'll see them tomorrow. Go ahead, Blake.
Do you think so? You think it's a good thing that now Trump will potentially, what if he pardons every Republican in Congress, every cabinet member, and then encourages them to do illegal things, saying, I've got you covered. I'm just going to pardon you for anything, any and all crimes you could possibly commit from here on forward. You think that's going to be a good thing?
It's not a good thing, but I think finally it'll wake the people up who should have been woken up by January 6th.
I think you're delusional. I think you've got Trump derangement syndrome to a degree that is outrageous, that you are excusing what Biden did as this is a good thing for the country. I really cannot put words to how damaging this is going to be to our country going forward, because Trump is going to ramp it up, and then Democrats will, because everyone's always doing this in preemptively to stop the other person from doing something bad. So they do bad things to stop other people from doing bad things. Trump's going to use the same excuse when he leaves office in 4 years, if not before then, to pardon whatever Kat Patel wants to do, whatever.
I do think he's going to leave before then, because from what I'm hearing,
who's going to leave where?
Hearing his health is great. And I saw him on close-ups when he walked up. He already looks dead. There's about 5 pounds of makeup just on his face.
There always is, Yerks. You are like, this is conspiracy theory nonsense that you think he's going to leave office before 2028.
You said it yourself 2 minutes ago.
I didn't say he's going to leave. I said he's going to preemptively pardon everyone.
You said in 4 years or sooner, or I'm paraphrasing.
I said in sooner as far as he will start writing the pardons tomorrow. What does he care? He doesn't have to run for re-election. He's got everyone in MAGA has his back no matter what.
By the way, mark my words, he's planning on doing that too.
Doing what?
Running for a 3rd term.
Well, maybe, but like the point is he's going to pardon himself, everyone around him, and every Republican in Congress possibly.
Biden did not do that. Did you notice? Biden did not pardon himself.
I don't care. He pardoned everyone around him because he hadn't done anything wrong. What he got out of this was his family got rich, trading in favors, trading in access. He doesn't care if he didn't get rich doing it. They did.
Let's see, what number was that? So did the 45 presidents before him.
That is not true. Show whose brother and son made millions of dollars trading in their name for favors. Tell me, did George W. Bush's kids do that? Did Clinton's kids do that? I wasn't aware that Chelsea Clinton took millions of dollars for her
Jenna Bush. You're telling me Jenna Bush, who is as dumb as a box of rocks, would have got a job on TV without her daddy being president?
Probably not, but that's different. That's after he left. First of all, this is not the same thing as Hunter Biden. Comparing Jenna Bush or Chelsea Clinton to Hunter Biden is so asinine, Yerks. I can't believe you're doing it. Matt, are you with me? Are they the same at all?
You're talking about kids.
I tuned out a little bit ago. I was like, we're going to get past through all of this, and then we'll go to something else.
They're not the same thing.
I'm browsing. I found this great meme of George Bush.
If you guys would listen to this show besides Fridays, you would have heard me say that every single president that becomes president does so because they have an ego.
Having
They
an
didn't
ego
give
and
you money.
having your brother and son
Church.
get foreign money
That
for
church.
influence is
They
different
think
than
it's totally okay.
it's not totally okay. It's not the
You-
same thing.
You and I know that, but we ain't presidents, and that's why we never will be.
You are excusing behavior from your
I'm not
guy that
excusing
you
it.
would otherwise
I'm
be
telling you
hammering
why
if
it
Trump did it.
exists. Totally different. I'm not excusing anything.
Yes, you are. You're saying it's
I'm
a good
telling
thing.
you why it exists. It's
There-
there.
There's no justification.
Every single president has. Why do you think John Quincy Jr.
Okay, let's take away all the nepotism. Let's just say that every presidential family has been corrupt since the start of time.
You can't take away nepotism.
Okay, I'm saying take it away from
John
an argument.
Quincy Adams would never have been president if his dad already wasn't one. And you think George W. Bush would have made it?
This is
when
just not
Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
The flagship of the Republican Party referred to him as my vice president's idiot son.
You're getting off track here. My point is
No,
Biden
I'm
is the
not.
first person to pardon all these people preemptively for any and all crimes they've committed since January 1st, 2014. Why 2014? That was 6 years before he even became president.
Because it's when it's when he ran. And there was a bunch of
run in
things that led up to
2014.
it.
He didn't run in 2014, Yergs. He did not run. He was the vice president in 2014.
Yes, but all those other people, you're forgetting something else we talked about. You and I know what we can find on Google. Joe Biden knows a lot more than that.
What does he know that excuses preemptive pardons for Liz Cheney
Ask him.
and Mark Milley and all these people?
Come on. Mark Milley.
I'm out, guys.
Mark Milley publicly called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator.
I don't care. He didn't do anything illegal by doing so. You don't need to pardon him.
We just lost a co-host, I think.
Yeah, he said he was leaving. You're excusing behavior that you would hammer if Trump did
Stop
it.
saying that.
You are.
I'm not excusing anything.
You are. You're trying to say it's okay that he did it. How is that not
I'm
excusing?
not excusing anything. I'm telling you why he did it.
Why did he do it?
It's right. Because the country needs to move on. And if you and I would have been able to do that, we'd still have a third co-host right now.
Why not allow Donald Trump
This is a
to
perfect
beat Trump?
example.
If Trump is going to go after his enemies for not crimes they didn't commit, I think we need to see that in public happen.
No. What was that speech about? That speech was about the weaponization of the Justice Department. You don't think that going after Hunter Biden, a drug addict who has no interest in politics, was
Okay,
weaponized?
what about Liz Cheney? What about Mark Milley? What about Anthony
They
Fauci?
did their job.
Okay, so
They're the ones who actually get to put the word patriot on their social media.
I can't do this. Like I can't do this if you're going to excuse the bad behavior on the Democrats every time and
I'm not excusing anything. How many more times do I got to say it?
You're
I'm
saying
just
it's okay.
telling you why it's there.
You're saying it's okay that he did it because it saves the
I didn't
country.
say it's
You are
okay. I never said it's okay.
you're saying the reason he did it
I
is
said
for
it was
good
the
reason.
best thing to do.
That is excusing
There's
it. You say
no
it's the best
win
thing to do.
here. That's what you can't understand. That's why you probably shouldn't be talking politics.
Why should I not be?
It's not black and white.
It is black and
The
white.
world is gray.
This is an abuse of the pardon power that's never been done before in the 250 years of our country's history, other than one time.
We've never had a TV wannabe as president twice.
That's my
before.
point.
Let alone even once.
That's my point. You excuse Biden and Democrats' bad behavior because of Trump is such a threat, and that's my point. Is if it's a norm, it should stay a norm. It doesn't matter what the threat is. That's why I'm saying you are making an excuse for Joe Biden's executive action that, by the way, had never been taken before, other than Gerald Ford with Richard Nixon, and that's a little different because that's saying Nixon resigned because he admitted that this happened. So
was that not a coup of sorts?
That's not a coup.
When you break into the other party's office to steal information for purposes of winning an election, is that not a type of coup?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's dirty.
Clearly not legal. Or G. Gordon Liddy and company wouldn't have gone to jail for it.
Yeah, it's not legal for sure, but I wouldn't say it's a coup. I would say that that kind of stuff goes on in a lot of campaigns. A lot of times, it just didn't rise up to the level of the president.
They're not breaking into each other's offices.
Well, I mean,
They might show up at an event and put rats all over the floor, which has actually happened, but they're not breaking into each other's offices.
My point is, his was a crime, right? Like, and he resigned for it.
Who's he? Oh, Nixon.
Nixon.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hunter Biden was convicted of a crime, so at least we have crimes there that were actually like on the department. Okay, the rest of them have no.
Yeah, to that. Nixon was convicted of a crime for the first time in history. No president. Well,
he was not convicted. He resigned.
Would have been convicted of
impeached
had he not been pardoned. He was the second president to be impeached. Yada yada yada. Hunter Biden was the second drug addict with a weapons violation and a laptop to be arrested that week, but the only one to make the newspaper.
Right, and I'm saying, and what I'm saying is that there were crimes there at least in those two situations. Now, I still don't think it's pardon is fun. There is no crime with Liz Cheney. There is no crime with Mark Milley. There is no crime with any of these other people. I think
there is in the mind of Donald Trump.
Right. So you let him go after
me, you got people like me who were investigated twice illegally during his first administration for simply being gay.
But what you're saying is that you don't have faith in the Justice Department to.
No, I don't. Not when you're sitting here saying about how everything is weaponized and how it's been weaponized and how people have not had faith in it for years. No, I don't have faith in it.
This does not help that. The way you have faith in the Justice Department is if Donald Trump really thinks Mark Milley committed crimes, then he can have his Justice Department come present the facts of the case, and he can take him to a jury trial, which would be, we would all know, is a sham, and nothing would come of it because these people did not commit crimes that we know of. Now, that's the other thing that I think is foolish about
don't
this.
You think it'll eventually work its way to the Supreme Court, to the same guy who just sworn him in? The same guy who just bro hugged him?
Guys, they voted 9-0 to, like, this is, you think that's my point is
that a risk? Is that a gamble you want to take with somebody else's life?
You are taking part in deteriorating the trust in these institutions by backing Joe Biden's doing of this.
No.
Yes, you are.
I'm taking part in knocking it all down.
How is this?
So we can rebuild it on a stronger foundation.
When Trump preemptively pardons everyone around him,
because we're not going to get the building permit for another 4 years.
How in the world do you think it's going to help the courts, the justice system, any of it, when Republicans and Democrats start going tit for tat, back and forth, president to president, by preemptively pardoning everyone around them? How do you think that's going to help? How do you think that's going to help, like, diffuse populism? And when, like, there's just going to be this further backlash. I promise you, things will be worse in 4 years than they were today, based on these pardons and the way that people view the elites have a different version of justice than the normal people. And Joe Biden started that.
No.
Why can't you admit that I
agree
it was wrong?
It's going to be worse in 4 years.
But you don't think what Biden did was wrong?
No, because I don't think it's wrong. It's not about right and wrong. It's about no decision is right or wrong today.
Well, then
it's not about right or wrong. It's about A or B.
No, right and wrong exist, Jurgs. You're going to say for the next 4 years, Trump.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is not about right and wrong.
How is it not about right and wrong? Explain to me how you think this is. So you
work in the road of each branch going to our destination.
Will it be wrong when Trump does it? If let's say Pam Bondi starts locking up people for no reason and he pardons her for federal crime.
If that's the way you want to go with right or wrong, then yes, I'll say that to some level, President Biden doing these blanket pardons is wrong because it does circumvent due process. That being said, a presidential pardon is his right.
No, it's his right. I didn't say it was illegal. I didn't say it was unconstitutional. I said it was wrong.
I know that, and I'll acknowledge that. But what I'm saying is, whether he pardons them or not, the end result that we all want, I think, is that the democratic republic that we used to have comes back in some fashion, so we continue to repair whatever been screwed up.
How do you think that will happen when the perception is Joe Biden? Because look at this. Let's look at this two ways. Let's look at this the normal way, where you and I know that Mark Milley, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, that crowd allegedly has committed no federal crimes that we're aware of, right?
That we have no correct.
Okay. Now let's look at the other side of this view. The MAGA crowd thinks they have. Okay. So what?
Okay, now stop there for a second.
Yeah.
What do we think about the MAGA crowd?
Well, I don't really care what I think about the MAGA crowd.
The January 6ers, the staffers who told Donald Trump back in September of 2020, you're not going to win. Remember my John Bon Jovi story?
Yeah.
The reason that happened was it was before Election Day. But they already knew, like I said before, they had the infrastructure in place. They knew John Kerry was not going to unseat W. His staff knew that Biden was going to unseat DJT. And so they concoct this stop the steal bullshit to create this narrative. Unfortunately, it worked. Maybe not right away, but it worked. Now, you and I know in 2020, DJT's own Homeland Security called that election, quote, the most secure election in history. Yet we're still going with this stop the steal bullshit.
Right. So when in 4 years, when Trump wants to run for a third term and gives those people preemptive pardons to make it happen, are you going to think that's right or wrong? Or are you going to think that's a gray area to help the country move on?
No. That's I'm going to join the constitutionalist side.
What's the difference between the two of them?
Because there's nothing in the Constitution stopping Joe Biden for making the pardons that he did.
What's the difference in Trump doing it? There's nothing that stops him from doing it either. Okay, so
Not
why
the
would
pardons,
you
not the pardons? No.
Okay, well, why will you excuse?
That's something that we'll all have to live with. As much as I would love to see those motherfuckers from January 6th hang on the steps of the Capitol.
I think that's a little extreme. I don't know that any of them
No,
should
it's
be
not.
hung. I don't know if we're quite. None of them were charged with treason, so you'd have to be hung
Yet.
charged with treason first. So,
Yet.
well, they're not going to now.
Yeah, exactly.
DOJ is going to. So here's my point.
You know what? I'll just have to take it.
But here's the point. So what? So
Because you and I know what happened that day.
it will be an excuse. The MAGA and Republicans will be able to excuse it because Joe Biden did it first, and it was wrong when Joe Biden did it. But because your side is going to defend Joe Biden in his preemptive pardoning of people that have not.
Wait, hold on.
It is your side, bud. I hate to break it to you. You're on the left. Like you are, and you're like you've got such narrow focused vision of everything Trump does is bad. So anything to try to stop him is good. That we are deteriorating the fabric of this country. Like it's gone. Like this is just slowly slipping away. And this was a huge step.
Then let's think of this. Let's say that he does not get his third term. What happens in 4 years?
Well, I mean, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in 30 days. I'm not going to try to go 4 years out.
But with him,
but I promise you, he will
pardon
pardon people for doing him favors, even if they
We
were
already
illegal.
agreed on that. We already agreed on that. I agree he will, and I
Right.
agree these stupid pardons are not finished. But if he does not get his third term,
But I
what
don't even.
happens?
But
4 years.
I don't even care about the third term right now because the point is this action by Joe Biden enables him to try that.
And you're missing the
more than he did
point.
before.
And that's why you're never going to be a president.
I don't want to be, so that's fine.
Exactly.
But here's the thing:
That is the most important resolute desk you're ever going to sit at.
So why?
This
But
is
like,
why I think Joe Biden did what was right.
so it's
Or-
right now. You
No,
don't just not think it's wrong. You think it's right.
I'll take that back. I'll take that back. This is why I think Joe Biden took the better course of the two paths in that fork in the road. Yes, Donald Trump is going to also make stupid pardons that I'm going to bitch about, and in 4 years, you may defend.
They wouldn't have been preemptive pardons
What?
until now. Potentially, we'll never know.
Okay.
So this escalation keeps happening.
Call it progress. Call it whatever you want to call it. It's something that hasn't been done before. You and I can both agree on that. I do. As a historian, I do. That doesn't make it wrong. Oh man, the second cocktail is down now. I'm burping.
I think it absolutely things can be black and white. Like I'm so tired of this moral relatively based on what letter is in front of the person's name. And that's what I'm so sick
So
of.
am I. But that's what we have to do.
You're doing it for the guy with the D in front of his name and not for the guy with the R in front of his name. You are doing the same thing you're saying you're sick of.
No.
I'm not. I'm being consistent.
And first of all, it's behind their name, not in front of it.
Well, but that's fine. You're right.
Biden didn't show classified documents to a bunch of girls with big tits.
Right. And I'm saying, and have I ever said that what Trump did when Trump did that, it was right? No, I never have. I'm consistent. I'm saying these are the things I think that we need.
You constantly put me on the left when I belong in the middle.
You're not in the middle. You're not in the middle. You're not. No, you're defending Joe Biden, preemptively pardoning his family for their corruption and people for not even committing crimes just because someone might have come after them.
Why is it that the Biden family is being pardoned for corruption, but everybody else who actually used to have an R behind their name is being pardoned preemptively?
Well, no, they don't all have R's. Anthony Fauci is not technically partisan. So he has nothing. Mark Milley is not partisan. I mean, he worked for a Republican administration, but like my point is there has been no crimes. There have been no legitimate crimes leveled at Mark Milley, at Mitt Romney, at Liz Cheney. I don't even have the list of all these people. I know it's Liz Cheney. I know it's Mark Milley. I know it's Anthony Fauci. I know it's his like 5 members of his family. Now, like those are two different.
I only knew about Hunter, so that's news to me.
There's 5 new ones. Right on his way out, which is also like this is.
I can't name 5 Bidens that are still alive.
It's his brother, his sister-in-law, his sister, and 2 other members who I don't know their names. And I've got it right here in front of me. Hold on, I'll pull it up and I'll tell you. I'll tell you who it is. It is 2 brothers. And
by the way, I don't know if you noticed because of the same model number, but I'm wearing another set of headphones. Earlier this week, Shady was dicking around at my desk, and I noticed that the cable for the headphones that I had sitting here was like lower to the ground, like she chewed it or pulled it down or something. The plug, the 1/4-inch plug into the headphone jack, is bent at like a 45-degree angle, and that is the static that I was hearing during President Trump's speech.
James Biden, Sarah Jones Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John T. Owens, Francis W. Biden.
I don't even know who the hell they are, and I protected them.
Well, that's his family, and he pardoned all of them preemptively. Now, also, here's another stupid
political question. Ashley and
why didn't he just do Hunter at the same time? Why did he do Hunter weeks ago and then all these other family members now?
I'll tell you why. Because Kamala was still running then.
She wasn't running 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about? It was in December that he pardoned Hunter.
Oh, was it that recent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
I have to. I don't know.
I think that the stuff is just getting put in front of his desk. I mean, I think he's just being put in front of him and he's signing it. I think that's what's happening.
I think that's a large thing to it.
So I've got all sorts of problems with this, and I just think that you're going to be up in arms about it. With the second Trump preemptively pardons someone, you're going to be livid about it. And I just understand what the difference is.
Nope.
You're just going to be okay with it.
I'm not okay with either one. How many times am I going to say that?
Well, but you're saying it's not right or wrong, that it's not a black and white thing with Biden. So, and you're saying you're just like when he let's say Donald Trump pardons Kash Patel and says preemptively and says do what you will, do whatever you want at the FBI. You will never be held criminally responsible for it. You'll be okay with that.
If he does that first, like if that's one of the 90.
Well, you can't do it first. You can't do it first because you can't pardon people for future crimes.
What you just said.
Well, but I'm saying if he can tell Kash Patel, I will give you a pardon for anything you do, so go for it. But he can't give it then. He's got to give it later.
Again, and I see where you're going, and I'll address that. But we also know that Donald Trump's word is as good as a piece of toilet paper already going down the toilet.
You're right about that, but I mean, don't you think that is something Trump would do? Like, does that sound unlike something Trump would do? Like, I don't think I'm exaggerating.
If you and I put this little hockey game and bench clearing brawl aside and looked hard enough, we'd probably find something where he did just that.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, it didn't happen in his first administration with people in like cabinet, and it didn't happen with. No, we do know of. We would know if he pardoned a Republican in Congress on his way out of office in 2021. We would know if that happened.
Congress.
What?
Kash Patel is not in Congress, unfortunately.
Well, I know, but Liz Cheney was, and Mark Milley was in the government, and anything like he did not pardon people in the government for any and all future crimes. That did not happen.
We weren't there yet.
Not future. He can't do future, but all crimes over a 10-year period of time. He did not, even unnamed ones where like he didn't do that. So we know he didn't do it. He didn't do it, but he will do it
there yet
because of Joe Biden. So my point is, he didn't do something. If he does it now, it's going to be because of Joe Biden. Why will that be a good thing? It won't be.
I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm saying that it is.
And so, but you don't think that will further deter people's faith in the Justice Department and in the elite people get a different form of justice?
I don't.
And do you think it will?
I don't think it'll further deter, because I think that level of faith is already dead.
No, I think it will get worse.
I think it will remind, because clearly
this is autocracy.
Our country's voting population has a memory of a sieve.
Yeah, that's fair. But Joe, so I mean, that's my concern, is that no one will ever
had a decent memory. Donald Trump wouldn't be sitting where he is in the first place.
Right, but here's my problem with all of this. Democrats are cheering this action by Joe Biden. I'm not saying across the board, but they will. They'll excuse it. And Republicans will excuse it for Trump. And in fact, Republicans would not have the balls to change the Constitution to say, for example, presidents can't pardon people between October 31st and January 20th in election years. I think that that's what needs to change. But they wouldn't do that because now their guy has that power.
I mean, once the election has happened?
No, I'm saying I think that pardon power should be stripped from the presidents from October 31st through inauguration of election years, because there need to be political consequences for this kind of crap. Joe Biden, if he's going to pardon his family, he should have had to do it on October 31st. I'm just saying the cutoff before November, so that we've got days before election, and then they can't use it until inauguration. And the reason why
I know it's bad luck to cheers on an empty glass, but at least it's water, and there's some.
But here's the thing: that's going to take a constitutional amendment to change. And even though people are pissed that Biden did this, yes, it would.
What is?
You'd have to change Article 2.
The inauguration used to happen in March.
Right. And we've slowly moved it back, and because we don't need much time. Yeah. Honestly, I think it should be in December. I think we should have it like weeks after. We don't need to have the 3 months. I think that it causes all sorts of problems. But you would have to strip the president's pardon power.
Where is that? That's not a constitutional amendment.
No, it's not. But
well, then why can we not have this law about pardons taking place in the same?
Because the pardon power is in the Constitution, so it's absolute.
So is the election.
What?
So is the election.
Right, but not inauguration day, isn't?
Okay, so you're saying the election is there, but the process is not.
Well,
you're saying similarly, you're saying that the power of pardon is there.
Power pardon is the Constitution. If you wanted to restrict it in any way, you'd have to change the Constitution.
But so is the election. The
Right.
election is in the Constitution.
Right.
But we don't have to change the Constitution to restrict an election.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
To change it.
You just said that the
Inauguration's not election.
But it's part of the process. It's part of the peaceful change of power.
It's two totally different things. The Constitution lays out that we're going to have on the second Tuesday, or sorry, the Tuesday following
First
the
Tuesday
Monday,
after the first Monday.
right? Like that's not the exact words. It's something like that. That's when elections
First
happen.
Tuesday after the first Monday.
So
that's why my brother can have his birthday on election day, who's November 3rd, and I cannot because I'm November 1st.
Right. So that's in the Constitution. If we wanted to change the date of the election, we'd have to change the Constitution. Same thing if we want to change the pardon power or change Supreme Court term limits, any of that kind of stuff, you have to change the Constitution. That takes obviously 3/4 of the House and Senate, and then you have to take it by 2/3, or sorry, 38 states have to ratify it at this point, which is, of 50 states. We currently have 50. My point is,
so until we add Greenland and Canada and Mexico,
right, and then we have a lot more. My point is, to change the Constitution is hard, and I think on purpose, and I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Good.
Even if you could get the country to agree that presidents shouldn't be able to do this, Republicans would not possibly take that power away from Donald Trump now that he has it. My point is, people keep giving power and excusing power that they like when it's on their side, but my point is, imagine your worst enemy having that power. And my point is, we have now given Donald Trump an excuse to he will not be the first person that does this novel new thing where he preemptively pardons a bunch of people.
No, because
Joe Biden
already did it.
Which means every president from now on until someone has.
Remember when you blamed this partisan type activity on Joe Biden, and I said no.
But it is.
Congress has been partisan for how long now?
No, partisan's not a problem for me.
What happens to? Sure, it is. What happens to any member of Congress when they vote outside party lines?
Well, it's not. I mean, that it's gotten a little ridiculous lately.
In the Constitutional Convention in those days, when there weren't parties, you had to go and talk to that person and say, well, what's it going to take for you to support this?
Well, there've always been parties. I don't know what you're talking about. There's always been parties.
No, the Constitutional Convention and the initial, I forget, I'm brain farting.
Right. We weren't technically a country yet. we didn't have the Constitution yet during the Constitutional Convention. That was right.
Exactly.
Right. But
my point was just how many of our founding fathers actually warned us and fought against the formation of political parties.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of people.
For this very reason.
But we've had them for a long time. But this is the problem is not the parties here. The problem is the president.
We've had them for a long time. Now, you and I will sit here and say, okay, Trump's here to make America great again. Well, if we're making America great again, when was it great?
Oh, I mean, I know the logical fallacy there is ridiculous. But my point is that
no, it's not.
It is.
No, tomorrow night I'm going to be on a show called The Point with Travis Evans. It's like the one white dude walks into a black barbershop. Tell them that at some point our country was great.
I mean, I think most people, when they're saying MAGA, they're saying the 50s. I mean, that's like the Americans, for some reason.
50s, during Jim Crow?
Well, what I'm saying is Republicans want to live there, I think is what I've heard, and Democrats want to work there. And Democrats are doing the same thing with their industrialization stuff.
Because blacks are being lynched there.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it was better in the 50s. I'm saying that like Republicans and Democrats.
Greatness where this country truly.
Well, Democrats are doing it too. They just don't call it Make America Great Again. But them trying to harken back to the manufacturing of the 50s is the same silly idealism.
Yeah, but the difference is they're including everybody, even Republicans.
Well, but
like Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and Mitt Romney.
It doesn't really matter though if the policy is stupid. Like I don't really care I don't care if you're being inclusive and then like tanking the U.S. steel deal with Japan out of national security reasons. That will lose American steel.
Taking Carrier air conditioner to Mexico 2 weeks after you said you wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah, I don't care about that stuff. Protectionism does not entice me on either side. I think it's foolish. I think it's never worked out the way people think it will be. But I'm not talking about protectionism. I'm talking about Joe Biden
on a stage with a bunch of other union employees that you claim to represent and lie to them.
Yeah, I don't really care about union employees. I think that the reason people have left unions is because they're not doing the same thing that they did years ago. That's the thing is people want to live in the past,
Right.
and union people are the same way. It's like they want to harken back to when unions were useful, and they're just not as much anymore. And that's why more people are leaving them. People are
a whole other episode.
right. It is, but I mean, here's my point. It has nothing to do with any of those policies or like let's try to like tweak this at the margins or let's look back because both parties are wanting to look back. Both parties want to be living in the past because they had more power in the past. That's simply the truth. But my problem is that Joe Biden, just like other presidents before him, escalated just because he had the power doesn't mean he should use it. And he abused the power, in my opinion, to do something.
Now you're going to black and white and not the realization that do you think that he just woke up today and said, hey, give me a tablet, I'm going to pardon another 50 people?
I don't really honestly know what's going on in his mind. I don't know that he knows what's going on in his mind.
You, because I've been standing right outside the door when similar things happened, that it was discussed.
Maybe, but not enough.
No, it was discussed.
Okay, great. They came to the wrong conclusion.
You and I, it's 1:33. We've been, what, an hour?
No, like
how long ago was it that, well, he only was actually took the actual, was right at noon, even though he was already president then legally. And
I just don't understand what good comes of this, though, Jurg. You've not told me any.
It's not about good.
Then why do it?
It's about an ends to a means and a means to an end.
And so
this is a loop.
So this is just protecting. This is just
Trump is going to come back. Trump is going to come back and do the same thing in 4 years.
Right. And then how are we better off for that?
Because we're over with it.
We're not over with it. It's going to keep happening for all time. And what's going to keep happening is like, look,
that's the test that Biden is implementing today instead of 4 years from now.
He failed the test.
No, we know that the next 4 years are going to be a shit sandwich.
Maybe, but it doesn't matter. Like, here's my point.
I heard his speech.
Okay. No, look, here's the problem.
You did. I know you did.
You don't get to preemptively do something wrong to prevent the other person from doing something wrong.
It's not about right or wrong.
They think it is.
A or B.
No, they think it is. Joe Biden signed these pardons because he thought Trump would do something worse by going after them, weaponizing the Justice Department to do so. Right? So he tried to do a bad thing to prevent a worse thing.
How long after Trump actually made a speech about de-weaponizing the Justice Department?
Right. And it my point is,
right? I told you it's a circle.
No, it's not, but it's not. Joe Biden didn't have to do that.
He's stopping that circle.
He's not.
He's putting his foot down and he's stopping the merry-go-round from making everybody dizzy.
No, he's stopping it for Anthony Fauci, Liz Cheney, and his family members, and anyone else that's on the list.
Yes,
who did not. Most of like, I'm not aware of a crime that Anthony Fauci committed. I'm not aware of a crime that Mark Milley committed. I'm not aware of a crime that Liz Cheney committed.
Correct.
So we're preemptively pardoning them because Trump might do something worse.
Got senior Trump administration officials going to people like me and sitting them down in a closed room with no windows and asking them who they voted for. And asking them to swear allegiance to the new president.
And you're okay when Trump pardons those people for doing illegal activities to accomplish his goals?
But we know it's going to happen.
That's my point is that's my point. People trying to predict future bad behavior and excusing their bad behavior is bad behavior. End of story. Yes, I don't care if Republicans do it. I don't care.
There's no way for Joe Biden to stop that now.
Yes, there is. He could have not preemptively pardoned all these people. There was absolutely a way for him to stop it. He could have said,
have them be tried by a Supreme Court owned by Donald Trump.
The Supreme Court's not owned by Donald Trump. That's another dumb conspiracy theory that you spout based with zero evidence. Zero evidence that the court is owned by him. They voted 9-0 against the TikTok ban that that Trump didn't want. So how are they paid for it?
And well, first of all, that's one of the things that Trump TikToked back and forth on. But what's Trump going to do?
They knew what his was last week.
Finish your sentence. The Supreme Court voted 9-0 to support the ban that should be in place because of how people are losing their information to a foreign adversary
and their Chinese intelligence operation.
Well, then how are they a rubber stamp for Trump?
All of a sudden, Trump's just going to turn around and executive order, fuck you, Supreme Court. And I'm going to let people be on
it will
Twitter.
Probably get back to the Supreme Court again. So my point is, how are they a rubber stamp for Donald Trump when they just went against him?
If J.D. Vance has gone on record as saying, screw the Supreme Court, we'll do what we want anyway.
That's just not how executive orders work. Just like they struck down Biden's executive orders. The Supreme Court strikes down executive orders all the time.
He still did it. How many people still had their loans forgiven after that was struck down?
Well, I mean, he kept trying to do workarounds and they kept striking more things down. So more courts keep striking down Biden's things. So probably not very many in the end.
But people kept losing their loans.
Why are you okay with the presidents doing illegal things as long as you like them?
Stop saying I'm okay with things that are illegal. It's not what I'm saying.
Are you now excusing Biden's loan forgiveness?
That's what you don't know about political science. It's not about right or wrong. It's about right or left.
Well, that's what I think is wrong with your thinking. I think that that's political thinking.
Don't bitch at me. Bitch at Confucius.
And first of all, right and left did not exist until like 50 years ago. Okay, like right and left is a totally new concept. That is not what Confucius was talking about.
Years ago, I was 3 years old. So continue to not bitch at me.
But my point is, right and left is not a thing.
Your attention.
The right and left is a silly thing to. Why can't we say
reality? And the longer you deny it, the dumber you're going to look.
I'm not denying the reality of politics. What I'm saying is that I'm tired of the excusing of bad behavior on your side. And by that, I'm saying across the board.
My side.
It is your side. You're anti-Trump. Therefore, you're pro-Biden.
It's only my side because Matt ain't here anymore.
It is your side, though. You're just admit it.
It's not.
There's nothing up the middle about you at all, Jurgens, and that's okay.
I own more guns spread out around the country than you've ever touched.
That doesn't matter. Like I don't
Google.
You can be a Democrat and like guns. Like there's nothing like that's okay. That's allowed.
I can be an independent and have values from both sides of the political spectrum.
You defend everything that I say Joe Biden does wrong, and anything that Trump does is wrong. It is black and white and right and wrong when you're talking about Trump.
No, it's not. Black and white and right and wrong is because Trump is a traitor. TT.
Okay.
Easy to remember.
So I just don't understand.
I agree with you and Matt that he alluded to the quote unquote fact that he was only going to run for one term and that he reneged on that deal.
He did a
lot. The way that he did it and the way that he was ousted to be upheld to that deal was also wrong, because I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris. I was a fan of Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump because, as I've said many times,
yeah, that's fine.
He was the lesser of two evils.
That's fine. That makes
total sense. But the good news is, in 4 years, we get to vote again. And in 8 years maximum, Kamala Harris is done. We don't know either of those about Donald Trump.
Yeah, I just don't think
that is the right and wrong.
Yeah, but I just think it's wrong to preemptively do something that's wrong to try to prevent the other guy from doing something wrong, when you could have been reining in what the executive power was this whole time. Joe Biden has been an absolute disaster. He's a disaster for the Democratic Party. He's been a disaster for the country because he's going to allow Trump the excuse to look, going back to the people, there's two crowds. Us that understand that Trump is who he is, and we also understand that Biden's who he is, and we can call balls and strikes to some degree, and we can say we don't think that Liz Cheney did anything illegal. We don't think that Mark Milley did anything illegal. Like I said, evidence.
There are things that I would have done differently as if I were Joe Biden.
Well, obviously, I
don't think at all that he was a disaster.
Yeah, that's a different opinion. That's
fine. He in the middle of he didn't even start his administration. In the middle of his campaign, he was dropped in his lap with a disease that we haven't seen the likes of 100 years.
Yeah, and so was Trump. So, but Trump doesn't.
Yeah, and so was Trump. And what did he say?
Yeah,
it's a hoax. And after a hoax, we were injecting ourselves with
But let me get back to my point. My point is that there is a crowd of people that do think that those people did something illegal and they want justice for what they did because they've been lied to by Donald Trump and his.
That about 40 minutes ago,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those people now are going to believe that Donald Trump has the right, because they're going to be like, look, they're trying to protect their people. They did this illegal stuff. We've got to do the same thing for us, because after Trump leaves office, if we don't win, the Democrats are going to come after Kash Patel and Marco Rubio and Pam Bondi and all these people. So we've got to preemptively pardon them, and they're going to excuse it on their side. And it will be wrong if Donald Trump does it, just like it was wrong when Joe Biden did it. And we will get this tit for tat for forever now, just like with the Senate, when the Democrats changed the filibuster rules.
I do think they're both wrong. I don't think we're going to get the tit for tat should we successfully get rid of Donald Trump in 4 years.
Why do you think we won't? What gives you hope?
There's too much of that establishment. There's too much of that not the dark web. What's the thing that they keep saying they're going to get rid of? The establishment.
Deep state?
Deep state.
Oh,
That's
right. Yeah, the deep state.
There's too much of the quote unquote deep state. The people that you like, the ones that are sitting in the wood paneled walls, smoking cigars and drinking brandy, and making those decisions behind the scenes, saying, what the fuck happened? How did we let it get this bad?
Don't you think this further, I think this is a win for MAGA's proof that there is a deep state. I don't think there is one. I think that it's a foolish thing to believe that there's this group of people that are nefarious and pulling all the strings.
It's just that a lot of people that dress in red, white, and blue are deeply stupid.
But if a bunch of people get preemptively pardoned for crimes, just in case, doesn't that sound deep state-ish? I think it gives them.
I wish you were on. I'm not going to pull it up because I already closed it. But today's morning motivation was, appropriately enough, Martin Luther King.
Well, of course.
And he said that, oh, you know what? Screw it. I will pull it up quick, even though I'm about to piss my pants. Screensavers. There he is. Okay. Share. Oh, God, not bad time to be on full screen. Window. There we go. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He's wrong. There are exceptions to every rule. And this is one of them. It's not fun. It's not pretty, but it does exist. That being said, I try every day to follow those footsteps and to live those words. Because God knows people have made my life dark and exposed or have given me hate unnecessarily. But that doesn't mean you just fight back with that when you can take a higher road. The resulting phrase I've coined, take a higher road. It's a steeper climb, but yields a better view.
Yeah, I would argue that Biden did not take the higher road here.
No. He took the fork to the left.
He took the easy way out.
Possibly. It's not the easy way out for him, because you and I just spent the past hour arguing about it.
Well, I
But
mean, I think it is.
He made
it is for his family. I mean, the family ones are totally different. But pardoning Liz Cheney serves no purpose other than to give Donald Trump the excuse to do the same thing with his cronies, and it will happen.
To give Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Mark Milley, Dr. Fauci, Mitt Romney, and company the peace of mind knowing that they can continue to live in the United States and not be persecuted.
Although I do think there are some legal questions here. I do think I do think they have to accept the pardon. I don't.
Yes, we talked about that,
but they weren't aware of it. So I don't know that they have it all accepted. I think there is going to be some legal.
Well, I mean, it happened today.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be some legal gray areas here because it will also they won't have Fifth Amendment rights anymore, so they'll have to testify. I mean, I think this is actually going to be a bundle of worms too. It's going to be a mess. But my bigger problem is that you have to admit some sort of guilt. I mean, that's at least what the Supreme Court's held up before. This is probably going to make it to the Supreme Court, unfortunately, because someone's going to go, I don't want to pardon for something I didn't do. Because I'd rather pay for their legal defense fund. That's what I think is the better way to do. I think the better thing is to set up a GoFundMe.
Well, I mean,
all these
yeah,
people to not go broke.
it costs more to execute a person than it does to put them in prison for life.
Well, and forget the federal government coming after you for like if you have a weaponized Justice Department coming after you, I'm sure that costs a lot of money. I'd rather pay their legal defense funds and show that they did nothing wrong and vindicate them that way.
What happens when Donald Trump does own the Supreme Court? Because it's going to go that high.
It can't.
What happens when he does own the Supreme Court and he wins?
I'm so tired of people saying that the Supreme Court is owned. Or
I'm so tired of saying Donald Trump's going to get reelected or win in the first place.
No. That's different. There's no.
It's not.
Where is the evidence that the Supreme Court is owned by Donald Trump? There is not. They rule against him constantly. They have over and over again. That's why he's pissed about it. He's vocally said things out loud about the court because he thought it would be more transactional. It hasn't been.
So you don't think he might circumvent that? Like, I don't know. They rule 9-0 supporting the ban of TikTok, yet he turns around and says, fuck you, I'm going to let it happen anyway.
Right, and I think it will make it, I think that ruling will make it back up.
That's not, let's talk about that. You think that's not a start?
Well, I mean,
about preemptive bans.
If that's a start, then Joe Biden did the same thing. I mean, there's going to be a back and forth. These are
turning it back on Joe Biden.
I'm not. I'm saying
you just stop turning it back on Trump. You stop turning it back on Joe Biden.
Well, I'm saying this is a normal thing that presidents do. If they sign an executive order,
now it's normal.
No. Listen, I'm saying the legal process, the actual legal process of saying I'm going to sign an executive order. The Supreme Court strikes it down. You try to adjust the executive order. Someone sues and it keeps going back and forth. That's a normal part of law too.
The executive order on TikTok was fuck you.
No, I agree. But my point is someone will sue and someone will ask if he has the power to do it. And if the Supreme Court says, no, you don't have the power to do it, didn't that prove that the Supreme Court's not bought and paid for by Donald Trump?
But he did it anyway. So what's it matter that there's even a Supreme Court in existence?
It does matter because
waste tax money. Why, if this Doge committee
is going to executive order could get struck down,
so productive, let's just get rid of the Supreme Court and the entire court system.
No, my point is that signing an executive order is that is within the president's power. It's also within the Supreme Court power to strike down that executive order is unconstitutional or illegal. Just like Congress can pass a law and the president can sign it and the Supreme Court can say that law is unconstitutional. This is a normal part of the checks and balances. And as long as you're doing it within those parameters.
Why they're equal parts and not Congress at the top like you like.
They're not equal.
Go ahead.
Congress is at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Wilson made up that equal thing. That co-equal thing did not show up until Wilson wanted all the power resident in the executive branch. This co-equal thing happened with power hungry presidents wanting the executive branch to be more powerful. You're supposed to be a teacher of history.
When I was not alive,
show me in the 17 or 1800s where we called them equal branches of government. Congress is the only branch of government that can fire other members of the other branches. The other Supreme Court cannot kick members out of Congress or kick a president out of office. Congress can do that with both the Supreme Court and them. Congress is the only one that can write the laws. Congress is the only one that has the power of the purse. How does the presidency or the Supreme Court have more power than the Congress? They don't.
He's got the button.
Well, the button didn't exist until 1945.
Exactly.
So Congress has given up a lot of their power to the executive branch, but constitutionally speaking, Congress has more power. Congress is the one body that can fire all 9 members of the Supreme Court if they want to, or any president that's in there. They can also, a president's veto can be overruled by Congress. It can't work the other way around. Donald Trump thinks he can veto
as usual.
The TikTok.
I'm very much looking forward to Friday.
Yeah.
I'm also very much looking forward to a toilet because I've got to piss like
all
a
right.
raisin.
Well, I'll let you go. But I mean, I'm furious about this. I think it's a bad start, and I think that
it's not a bad start just solely on Joe Biden. I need to hear you say that, or I'm going to sit here and piss my pants if I have to.
No, it's a bad start for everything. This is going to kick off Donald Trump's already authoritarian tendencies to go further than that and give excuses to pardon everyone around
that speech. Did you listen to that speech?
It was his campaign speech.
Do you think he wrote that speech after Joe Biden pardoned all those people this morning?
He didn't write that speech.
First of all, yes, correct. Exactly.
Second of all,
that speech was written 2 weeks ago.
Second of all, his campaign, it was just his campaign speech delivered more somberly. It was no difference between it and his.
A little bit more somberly.
Yeah, I mean, barely. It's not very.
Barely, exactly.
So,
all right.
He's already elected. What's he doing? All right.
You already admitted that he's a shit sandwich.
Well, of course he is.
I got to piss or I'm going to be a piss sandwich.
All right.
Piss soup. All right, buddy. Great chat. See you on Friday. And let's stay strong. All right, that was Blake Fisher from the Homeless Conservative. I'm Yergs from up the middle. We lost Matt about an hour ago, and you're about to lose me because I have to piss. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for running with the big dogs. Thanks for going up the middle. I'll see you again.